Hello, warriors. Welcome to A Spiritual Warrior, a podcast that helps faith-based individuals mature spiritually through the Word of God, prayer, and application. I'm your host, Chatoya, and I pray that this episode blesses you. So let's get started. Welcome back to the Grief, Loss, and Legacy series, part 3. I pray that you have been enjoying this series. I pray that it has been blessing you. Today we will be discussing mourning, grief, as well as ways to cope with grief. And that is coping with grief. Obviously, if you are someone who is grieving at this time, and there will also be some discussion for those who are on the other end, and maybe you are supporting someone who is grieving. So ways to help in coping them with that. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with mourning. So let's talk about what mourning is. So we know that grief is the internal meaning that's given to the experience of loss. So when we look at mourning, mourning is when you take the grief you have on the inside and express it outside yourself. So another example or way to describe or define mourning is grief gone public or the outward expression of grief. So mourning is sharing, it's talking or crying about the person you've lost to someone you love. Mourning is journaling your thoughts about what it is that you're going through, journaling your feelings, journaling the person that you loved, or even if it's something that you lost as well. So mourning can be expressed in a form of journaling. And with us living in a digital world, some people tend to mourn on social media, or they tend to mourn via social media, whether it is sharing memories of their loved ones or just simply expressing that they are not okay. And I want you guys to know that that is okay. It's okay for you to be able to mourn via social media. But if it gets to a point where it's excessive or it's unhealthy, and again, I can't tell you how to mourn, but don't let social media be your minute by minute open diary. And I just want to say that. So I think it's fine for us to mourn and share things via social media, but if it gets to a point where you're literally on social media and you're literally sharing things every single minute, of every day of the week, and it becomes to be excessive and that's your form of outlet, I just want to encourage you to know that it is okay to go to grief counseling, so that way as you are releasing and putting things out, you have someone who is a professional who's able to help you in getting through this season of grief. And if you feel like you want to harm yourself, or you have any suicidal thoughts, or you have thoughts that you want to be with whoever it is that you have lost, I truly, truly want to encourage you to reach out to get help. I know sometimes we may not want to reach out to our family. We may not want to reach out to our friends because we don't want them to see and know how vulnerable we are during this time, or just even the thoughts that are going through our minds. So I really want to encourage you to reach out to, whether it's your pastor, if it's a counselor, grief counseling, um, even godly counsel as well. Know that there are people that you can talk to and that you do not have to go through this grieving season alone. And know that even people in the Bible grieve. I think sometimes we think that we don't have to grieve, or we don't want to grieve, or we think that it's something wrong with it. But if we even look at a biblical standpoint, like even people in the Bible grieve, even people in the Bible mourn. Abraham mourned and wept over the death of his wife Sarah. We also know that even Jesus wept. So I just want to encourage you in that aspect as well. So I hope that encourages you to know that it is okay to have our moments and seasons of mourning and grieving. And even Jesus said that we would be sorrowful, but our sorrow would be turned into joy. And we can thank God that by his power and grace that he's able to turn our sorrows into joy. We know that this season is not going to be something that lasts forever, but we know that we will be able to experience joy. We know that weeping may endure for a night, but we know joy is coming in the morning. So let's talk about some things that either causes sorrow or are moments where we are sorrowful. And it can be at the loss of a loved one. It could be that someone that you loved is hurting and there's nothing that you can do about it. It could be that you're experiencing sorrow at the loss of a relationship. You may be sorrowful that you lost your job, or you've been laid off or unemployed or furloughed. Sorrowful that you can't see and spend time with your loved ones. But just know that in the midst of sorrow, joy is ahead. And what you are experiencing and going through right now is directly connected to the joy that is coming, that you are getting ready to be able to experience. And know that there is unexplainable joy that is in the future for you. There's joy coming that no one can take away. There's going to be joy that's coming that is truly going to be unexplainable and unspeakable joy. And I pray that you are able to find comfort that God is working all things out for your good. And I want you to keep crying out to God. He hears you and he will deliver you from all of your troubles, all that it is that you are experiencing. He knows that your heart is broken, but I want you to know that he is near to you. He knows that your spirit is crushed, and he is the one who's going to be able to save you from that. We know that many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers them out of them all. So I pray that God is your source during this time, because he is the source. He is the source of hope. He is the one who's able to fill you completely with joy and peace. And what you just have to do is to trust him. So as we move into coping with grief, I want to highlight a few things that we have already went through already in our previous episode, but just highlighting the importance of it, knowing that when coping with grief, that it is okay to reach out for therapy. I recommend Christian therapy or Christian counseling if you are able to find someone. And then also going through grief counseling as well. We know that we have the Bible at our hands 24/7, and I just want to encourage you to just keep your eyes stayed on God and knowing that he is the one who is and will provide the healing that you need. I want you to give yourself some grace, give yourself time to grieve, and give yourself as much time as you need. And know that God will give you the grace to face each and every day. And just be reminded that all that is happening, all that you are experiencing, nothing happens outside of God's control. And as you're going through this grieving season and as you are mourning, don't try and rush through it. Feel everything that you need to feel during this time. Do what you can, and what you can't do, give yourself grace with it. Give yourself grace with the things that you can't do. Seek God during this time. Pray during this time. Many people are out of jobs. You may be out of a job right now, and it may seem like you're literally stuck between a rock and a hard place. But given the fact that the state that this world is in, and maybe you can't apply for a job in your field right now, maybe you have to file for unemployment, and that's something that you have to rely on. But know that that is just something that is a season. For many people, there are other avenues that you can take advantage of, and some of those things may be opportunities that will require you to set pride aside, whether it's working at grocery stores or call centers or Amazon or working from home. Those are some things, or even seeking out contracting positions. I know many industries are not necessarily impacted in a negative way. So, for example, I work in accounting, so whether the economy is good or bad, accountants are still needed. So, maybe you have lost your job or you've been laid off, but there are opportunities that you can seek out for contracting as well. And like I said, it may not be where you want to be right now, but just being able to put your pride aside just for this season. And most importantly, seeking God on what He wants you to do. This season for you may be a season of rest. It may not be for you to go out and try to find a job or stress out on what's your next step or what is it that you need to be doing now. Maybe this is your season of rest, and I pray that you are able to hear from God if that is your season. He may want to speak to you during this time about something that He wants you to do. So I just want you to get in a posture where you are able to not only go before Him and seek Him for things, but you are able in a posture where you are able to listen and to hear from God on what it is that He will have to speak to you during this season. And if you are unemployed and God is not speaking to you to go and search and to find another job or find part-time jobs or find online opportunities, I want you to truly trust God. And I don't know exactly all that you're going through. I don't know exactly all that you are experiencing during this time, but I can speak from my own testimony in a way that I have been able to experience God. I've been unemployed for a whole 12 months before. God told me to move from Chicago all the way here to Atlanta, literally moving across the country, not knowing what was ahead, not knowing that I would be out of a job for a whole 12 months. But in that time, I was able to experience God like I had never experienced Him before. I was able to experience Him as my provider, literally providing for me for a whole 12 months. We can say that, and some people aren't able to find comfort in that because they don't think that there's going to be a way made for them. They don't think that God is going to provide for them in that season. But I just want to encourage you that if God was able to provide for me for a whole 12 months of not working, that He surely can do the exact same thing for you. This may be a temporary season of something that is maybe just a month of you being out of work or being laid off or furloughed or having a pay cut. It could just be a few months. It could just be a few more weeks. But whatever that time frame is, only God knows. But we also know who He is and what He's capable of doing. So I pray that during this time that you are able to experience God as your provider, that you are able to experience Him just as I had, as my provider, as my way maker, as my miracle worker. And I just want you to know that during these times that you may be in seasons that you didn't expect that you would be in. Reflect on the characteristics of God. And if you have not experienced God at those levels, I pray that He reveals Himself to you in ways that you truly never experienced Him before. During this time, I also want to encourage you to fast. I encourage you to pray. And during your time of praying and fasting, and as God is leading and directing you, I pray that you will obey His leading, that you will obey the direction that He's leading you in, even when it doesn't make sense, because even though we can't see what's on the other side, God already knows. And if He's leading and guiding you and directing you to rest or starting something new or looking for another job or whatever it may be, I want you to truly, truly trust Him and to know that He has not left you. He will never leave you, and He will never leave you nor forsake you. He is with you through this journey. And no matter what has happened or what is even happening right now, I want you to praise God. I want you to praise and thank Him, because we are to praise, we are to rejoice, and we are to give thanks in all circumstances, for it is God's will for us in Christ Jesus. It's not just giving Him praise and thanks when He's blessed us with things or when things are going well, but we are to praise, we are to rejoice, and we are even to give thanks during our trials, to give thanks during our tribulations, to give thanks during our grieving season, because we know that it is still a part of God's will. So whatever is happening, God has allowed it, and if He has allowed it, know that it is going to work out for good. I wanted to read Psalm 34, and I'll start at verse 8. O taste and see that the Lord is good. How blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. O fear the Lord, you his saints, for to those who fear him there is no want. The young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they who seek the Lord shall not be in want of any good thing. Come, you children, listen to me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. Who is the man who desires life and loves length of days, that he may see good? Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are toward the righteous, and his ears are open to their cry. So I just pray that that passage of Psalm just speaks to you, that encourages you. I pray that even during this time that you will be patient and let the healing process run its course. There is not a set time on how long grief will last or how long this season will last. But I pray that you would just be patient through it and truly allow yourself to be able to heal. I would encourage you during this time to also put on spiritual music. Feed your soul with praise and worship. Many times when we are in a vulnerable state, the enemy wants to come in and attack our mind. He wants to attack our thoughts, our life, our family, and just do anything that will keep us distracted from God. So during this time, I just encourage you to just feed your soul with God's word. Feed your soul with praise and worship. I also encourage you to share on social media. I know social media for a lot of people is a sad place right now. And it's one of the reasons that during this time of fasting for COVID to cease, that God has instructed us to be off of social media from 6 to 6 so that we are being mindful of what we are consuming. There is a lot of loss that people are experiencing. And although we may not know the people or it may not have directly impacted us, we are grieving with them and for them as well. But as you have time and as you are led to, and even after COVID, I pray that you will utilize social media as a place of grieving and mourning and allowing you to do it in a healthy way and being able to share memories of your loved ones or whatever it is that you have lost, and sharing your journey within mourning as well. And when one of my friends, Julia, passed away, I shared a lot on social media during that time, and my sharing helped me a lot. It helped people a lot. Sometimes it probably made people sad, but all in all, it was helpful and beneficial for me, and just helping me to be able to share the impact that Julia had on my life. And I encourage you to be able to share the impact of those who you have lost, the impact that they've had on your life. Share what it is that you miss most about them. And for me, it was something that was freeing. It was something that gave me peace. And I don't want you guys to think that this is a sign of weakness or this is a sign of struggling, but it's really a part of the healing process, and it is truly okay. Now, maybe you are on the receiving end and you're in a space where you are supporting someone who is grieving, maybe someone who has experienced the loss, or maybe one day you will have to comfort a loved one, or you may have to comfort someone who is grieving. So I want you to listen. I want you to listen. Don't say that, you understand what they are going through, because we don't truly know their emotion. We don't truly know what it is that they are feeling or going through, because we aren't them. We've talked about we all grieve and hurt in different ways, and even though we both may have experienced a similar or the same loss, we all handle it in different ways. And although it may seem like the right thing to say that we understand what they're feeling or what they're going through, Many times we don't, because death and loss hurts everybody differently. And just because we've experienced something that they have in a similar way or the same way, it doesn't necessarily mean that we know what they are feeling. So I want you to make sure that you're listening. So listen to whatever it is that they want to share, that they have to say. Be that listening ear for them. Know that you don't have to help them feel okay right away. And I think that a lot of times when our loved ones are hurting, we just want to make them feel better. We want them to get back to normal right away. And know that you don't have to help them feel okay right away. As much as you want to help them get back to normal and feel okay, it does not have to happen immediately. Also, don't want you to make everything about you. Let them have their moment and the time that they need to share and to get things off of their chest that they may want to, or even if it's just moments of silence where they don't have anything to share. Just let them be able to get through that time the best way that they know how. But when there is opportunity and God leads you to, I do encourage you to share your personal stories. Share the good that came from whatever loss that you have experienced and how you've grown from it. For me, I still have triggers sometimes. Many of you know, and I've shared with the loss of Julia, it is something that went public. It was something that went viral all across the world. And given her death being ruled as domestic violence, even though her and her ex-fiance were not together, they knew each other, so it was still considered domestic. So a lot of people, even on the anniversary of her death, or just when they are highlighting other people who have died or suffered from domestic violence, she's mentioned in those articles, she's mentioned in those organizations, and people will tend to tag me on social media in those articles. And I think from their viewpoint, they see it as she's still being honored, or she hasn't been forgotten about, or her story is still being told. But that's what they see. We have to be mindful of how the person who is grieving and the person who has experienced the loss feels. So for me, when I am tagged in those articles, it takes me back to everything that happened that day, everything that she went through, everything that wasn't said on news articles and media and things like that. So it takes me back to reliving that day or reliving that moment of how I found out the details and all of those things. So that can be a lot for someone. So just be mindful of that as well. So there are people who have, like I said, tagged me in these articles, and I don't respond to them because, like I said, that's what my experience and my trigger is. And also during that time, I asked, what am I supposed to learn from this? What am I supposed to take away from this? God, what is it that you would want to show me through this that I can take away, and whether it be a better person going forward, or to handle things differently, or to show up more for people? Whatever that is, ask God to reveal that to you, because God is the revealer of all things. And also know that He will reveal what He wants. I think a lot of times we want answers and details about things, and maybe it's just not God's will for Him to reveal each and every little thing to us. But know that we can go to Him and ask, and that we can wait and be patient for what it is that He will reveal to us. And as you are listening to the person that's grieving, make sure you also are listening more than you are talking. So I think, like I mentioned, it's fine for us to be able to share our story, making sure that we aren't making it all about us, but making sure that we are providing some help, some guidance of what we've gone through and how we've gotten through it, so that it can be of some encouragement for them to know that they are able to get through it, and even giving them things that they may be able to seek God on as well, to help them to heal and get through this. But make sure that we aren't doing all the talking, that we are allowing them the opportunity to listen. And as you are listening, I also want you to listen to the leading of the Holy Spirit and what He wants you to say and what He wants you to do. Know that He's speaking and He's leading you for a reason. And many times the Holy Spirit may give you things to say or do that person may not have shared with you, or that person may not have asked you. But the fact that God has placed it on your heart is for a reason. And I want you to just be intentional in listening and being intentional in obeying whatever it is that the Holy Spirit may be leading you to do. So whatever that is, just go for it. It may be something that's out of your comfort zone. I know for me, I've had a friend who was grieving, and God told me to reach out and ask if they wanted to go to dinner. And it may sound like something that's simple, it may sound like it's something that's odd, but there are things that people are going through that they may not necessarily want to share or know how to share or want to come off as that they need help. But if God's leading you to do or to say something, I just pray that you are obedient to whatever that is. And also be okay with whatever their response is going to be. God may have led you to say something and they may turn it down. They may be afraid. They may say no. They may not want to do whatever it is that you have suggested. But I want you to not feel bad. I want you not to internalize things. Know that you heard from God. Continue to keep pushing, because you doing that could have opened the door for them to realize that, wow, it is okay to accept help. It is okay to be able to get out and to do other things, or it is okay to get out and to do new things, or it is okay to get out and have dinner or go for a walk, or just spend time with a friend. So you never know what people need. But if God and the Holy Spirit is leading you to do certain things or to not do certain things, I pray that you will be obedient to that. Also know that it is fine to literally just be there for them. Just be there in their presence. Many times you don't even have to say anything. Just you being there for them speaks volumes. Know that you are able to comfort in silence. Presence helps so much more than we can ever think or imagine that it could. And as our friends and loved ones are grieving, we are sharing in their grief. So I wanted to read a few verses from Job 2, and it's about Job's three friends who are sharing in grief with him. So it says, when three of Job's friends heard of the tragedy he had suffered, they got together and traveled from their homes to comfort and console him. Their names were Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite. When they saw Job from a distance, they scarcely recognized him. Wailing loudly, they tore their robes and threw dust into the air over their heads to show their grief. Then they sat on the ground with him for 7 days and nights. No one said a word to Job, for they saw that his suffering was too great for words. So I think that is a word within itself, that it is okay um, to be there for them in their suffering. It's okay to comfort them in silence, and it's okay to be there for them and not say a word, but that comfort and presence is something that will help them in ways that we could have never imagined. And as we are being there for our friends, or our loved ones, or family, and as we are comforting them and just sharing, I also want you guys to know that we don't necessarily have to tell them what to do or what not to do. We don't want to make it as though we are implying that they need to be grateful in this season, but just allow them to get through this the best way that they can, but with our help and specifically being present in their life during this season as well. So let them cry. We know that tears are a gift from God to wash away the pain. Cry as much as you need to. The Bible tells us that we are to be happy with those who are happy, and we are to weep with those who weep. We saw Job friends weeping with him. So don't always assume that the person that's grieving needs to be cheered up. Sometimes they just need a shoulder, sometimes they just need to cry. Also, as people are grieving and they have announced or shared that they have lost someone, a lot of times people always want to ask them, well, what happened? And obviously, if it's family, friends, loved ones, someone that's close, it's fine to do. But even there's boundaries with that. I think a lot of times um, we feel obligated to know everything, and if they don't tell you or if they don't volunteer it, don't ask or ask until they are ready to share. And I've seen this debated on social media. Social media, many people, for some reason, feel obviously entitled to information about the person that has passed. They feel as though that you shared it, that you shared that someone has passed, that it's okay for them to ask what has happened. They feel like if you didn't want anybody to know, that you shouldn't have posted, or you shouldn't be mad because you should expect that people are going to ask what happened. But I want you guys to know that, one, if you do not feel comfortable sharing, if it's something that you don't want to do, please don't feel obligated to share something that you don't want to. And I will give an example. So, for example, when Julia passed, um, although, like I said, she wasn't in a domestic relationship or anything of the sort, her death was ruled by domestic violence. So, despite what was shared on social media, the small details that were mentioned, people still felt entitled to ask very specific questions. Like, did we see this happening? Did we know that if she was being abused? How did he kill her? What happened? And just based off of what I've just shared, imagine tons of people asking you that every day, and you having to respond and to repeat that over and over to a ton of people. And it's something that you are just going through yourself. It is something that you have not even 100% processed. It is something that you have not healed from. It can be anything from whether it's murder or rape, it could be anything that's a traumatic death as far as how someone has passed. And imagine having to keep repeating that to someone. It's unfair, it's sad, it's draining, it hurts more, it's overwhelming. And a lot of times people don't think that, they don't even know how the person has passed or have even thought of what it could be, and not knowing that it could be something that's traumatic. It could be something that's traumatic for you to have to share and to repeat to other people. So I want us to be mindful, even when people we know that have passed away, wait until they are in a space where they want to share. Sharing is something that's sacred. Um, Sharing is something that takes a lot to do, and it takes a lot to do if you have to continue to keep sharing with a lot of people. And granted, at some point, we have to share how someone has passed, and maybe sometimes you may not share. My recent friend Jamaica, who passed, the way that she passed, if you guys notice, I have not shared that because one is something that's private. It's something that she was going through that she didn't even share with her family and friends. So I'm all about privacy. I'm all about sharing when I feel it's best for me, sharing when it is best for you. And I just want you guys to know that as you may share on social media or with other people, it is fine to say, please, out of respect and kindness, refrain from asking how my loved one has passed during this time. And it's not to say that you won't ever share. Maybe now is just not the time. It's something that you are processing for yourself. And it is not helping you in your grieving process to continue to have to relive that every time someone calls you, or every time that you have to pick up the phone, or every time that you check your phone, or every time that you check a message. So just wanted to share that with you guys, and for you not to feel bad and not wanting to share, because it can be a lot. Sharing is sacred, sharing is something that's personal, and it can take a lot for someone to do. I also want you guys to check up on the person who has lost someone. I think we do a good job sometimes of checking on them the week that everything has happened, maybe after the funeral, and then sometimes we may not check on them as much as we used to in the beginning. And a lot of times people need it more after the fact, because now everything is truly setting in for them. This new reality is truly setting in for them. They may have been overwhelmed with all of the texts and calls and messages when their loved one had passed, or whatever it is that you have lost. And now all of the overwhelming thoughts and feelings are starting to fade away, and reality is starting to sink in. So please check on them and actually pick up the phone and call, because sometimes calling is more personable. You can actually hear for yourself if the person is okay or not. Making sure that we're, still giving them their space and not being overwhelming and checking on them every 5 minutes, every hour on the hour, just as God, leads you to, so that they are still able to have their space and healing through all that it is that they are going through and experiencing. Making sure that you are also making time for them. Um, Also, not just telling them to call you and to reach out if they need anything. Figure out what it is that they need. Figure out their needs during this time, and find a way to be able to meet and to fulfill their needs, or whatever it is that they need in that season. Most of the time when we tell people, hey, if you need anything, make sure you reach out to me. Most of the time people aren't going to reach out. Some people will, but a lot of times people won't reach out. They have a lot that's going on, and what they need is for someone to actually reach out to them and see how they are doing. And if you are the one who's grieving, be honest. For me, I used to say that I was okay when I wasn't. I started being honest and sharing that I did have a rough day, or I wasn't doing good today, or I had a moment today. And this gives others the opportunity to intercede on your behalf and do whatever is necessary for them to be able to help you. If people don't know what you're going through, then they aren't able to help. If you're telling people that you're okay and you're mad because nobody's checking on you, they don't really align with one another. So just be honest with when you can. I know it can take a lot. I'm a pretty private person, and it has taken a lot for me to be honest and say, when I'm having a bad day, or asking someone to pray for me. And for me, I am typically okay with being alone. I'm typically okay with being by myself. When I, first found out that Julia passed, and any other loss, I haven't experienced a lot of loss, but I'm typically okay with being alone at first. But after some time, I do need some company, and it's difficult for me because with the death of Julia, a lot of my friends are back home in Detroit, and I'm here in Atlanta. So just comfort in the presence of other people is something that helps me during my time of grieving. Like literally just someone sitting in my house with me. You don't even have to say anything, but just the fact that I know somebody is there and I can see and feel their presence, that's something that personally helps me. So figure out what that is for you, and don't be afraid to embrace it. And I also have to be honest with myself and my friends of my needs. And, hey, can you come over for dinner? Or, hey, do you want to go out to eat? Just for me to be able to get my mind off of things, to be able to be in a better headspace, to clear my head. And it's okay to do those things. Sometimes in the beginning, I tried to give hints a few times and it didn't work. Some people can't read between lines. So I just want to just stress the importance of just speaking up and really being honest. And if you know the anniversary is coming up or a significant date, ask that person if they want to go out to eat, or they want to grab lunch or grab dinner, or want to go to the movies, or want to do something to get them out of the house. We know that as anniversaries come, as significant dates come about that are related to the loss of their loved one or something that they have lost, those can be trigger moments for them, and it could be times when they go into greater or a deeper depression or grieve or mourn more. And it's just an opportunity for us to be able to make ourselves available to them and for them. Ask if there's anything that they need, if there's anything that they need prayer for or prayer about. A lot of times we think that there's a physical need. It's okay if they don't physically need something, but making sure that we are being intentional with asking specifically, what is it that I can pray for you on or about? Ask if there's anything that you can do to help them to get through the anniversary death that may be coming up, or helping them, anything that you can do to help them to get through a birthday of their loved one that's coming up. Think of those things and be intentional in reaching out. And we may not always know what to do or what to say, but it's also okay to ask them, how can I help you during this time? And let them know that you are feeling the pain with them, that you are grieving with them, that you are mourning with them, and that they are not alone. Share memories or stories with them. I know for me and my friends, they remind me of a lot of memories and things from college, or just various moments of us hanging out about Julia that I may have forgotten about. I know with the recent passing of my friend Jamaica, my mom shared childhood memories that I had completely forgot about, that I hadn't even thought about, and it brought me so much joy. So I would encourage you, if there are any memories or stories that you have or that you can share with them. For many people, it may be difficult. For many people, it is something that can truly bring light and joy into their life in this dark time, allowing them to be able to reflect on good times and memories that they've had with their loved ones. Also, mark your calendar and send them a gift during this time. If it's an anniversary that's coming up, if it's a significant event, a birthday, something that will cause a trigger for them to grieve or mourn. And just be intentional. For some things, I have death anniversaries, I have it marked on my calendar, just like we put birthdays down. I think it's important for us to be intentional and being there for people, not when it's just a celebration of life or a celebration of accomplishments, but also celebrating and being there for people when they need it most, and when they are going through a tough season, and a tough season of grief as well. So for them, life will never be the same, and just helping them to know that with that you are still with them, and that you will be with them through whatever it is that they are going through. You can express that, you don't know why this has happened, but know that you are there for them and that you are grieving with them and for them. That is something that can bring them so much comfort that you could never imagine. Also, think of time markers, whether it be whether it's been 3 months since the person has passed, or 6 months, or 1 year. Make those marks and just send a note to them. Send a text message of encouragement. Send a Bible verse for them to be able to lean on. Send them a card in the mail. Those things really mean a lot, and it shows that you care and that you are thinking of them during this time. Even knowing that the days that are leading up to the anniversary or whatever the significant events may be, know that those are days that hurt the most. So like I said, you don't have to be overpowering or try to hurry up and make them feel better, but I think the key is just being available and letting them know that you are there for them, and doing small things that shows that you actually care for them, and asking them, on this day, what can I do to make this day easier for you? And if you see a need, go ahead and fill it. Maybe this is a time for them where they just want to be alone and they want to be in the house. Get food delivered to them. Send them a gift card. Send them a movie to watch. If they are even preparing arrangements for a funeral, I know that during COVID everything is different right now, and a lot of times we are not able to be there for people in ways that we typically would be able to be there for them. So this is a time where we have to be creative. But even outside of COVID, I know a lot of times when someone passes, everyone gathers at their home or the home of loved ones as they are preparing for arrangements. If you're stopping by the house, just bring things over for them, whether it be paper plates or paper towel or toilet tissue. We know that they will have a lot of people in and out of their home. They may not want to wash dishes after everyone leaves. It's just the small things that they aren't thinking about, but when you do that, it will go a long way for them. There is also a book called What Grieving People Wish You Knew About What Really Helps and What Really Hurts, and it's by Nancy Guthrie. Guthrie, I hope I'm saying her last name right, but I'll put it in the show notes. And it was a really good read. It was a good read for me when I was grieving, and also a good read for me to know how to help other people when they are grieving. So many of the things that I've shared, some of those are mentioned in this book, and I encourage you to pick it up and read it. And I pray that it is something that blesses you and helps you during your time of grieving, and also helps you as you are being there for others who are grieving as well. So that is all for today. We have another episode of this series to come, which talks about legacy, which is our final topic. We've covered loss, we've covered grief, we've covered mourning, and now we are going to talk about legacy and the truth of legacy and what that means and what we are leaving behind when we leave this earth. But most importantly, the legacy that we are leaving to carry forward for our family, our loved ones, and for even generations to come, and the legacy that God has intended for us to leave, which is important. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you need anything from me, if you need any prayer, please feel free to email me at hello@aspiritualwarrior.com. Feel free to hop on the blog and you can comment on the blog post there as well. I am available. I am grieving with you all, grieving with everyone during this time of this pandemic as well. And if there is anything that I can do or be of assistance during this time, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Love you guys, and I will talk to you on the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Make sure that you check out the show notes, and I'll chat with you next time. Be blessed.